If you're like me and you like lacing up the shoes to go on a great trail run, especially on a day when it's beautiful out, or you just like exercising, that's your thinking time. That's when the wheels start turning and you contemplate life. Lately on my runs, it's got me thinking, there's so many people moving to Calgary and Alberta right now. What are some of the things that you need to know when you're gonna make the big move here? There is nothing like a relaxing run. And on that note, let's get into what I think are the top 5 things you need to know before you pick up and set roots in the blue sky city. Of those 5 points, there's one in particular you absolutely need to know, so stick around to the end to find out what it is. All right, the run is done. I'm switched now into the business threads. And if you're new to the channel, I'm Jeff Tincher, agent with Real Broker here in Calgary and the McCallum Group. I have connections across Canada and North America. And listen, if you like what you see and you want to see more videos like this, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. There's also a Calendly link below if you want to get into a call for something more in-depth on the real estate side. The first thing you need to know before you move to Calgary is weather. We get some of the most sunshine hours in North America, full stop, look it up, it's a fact. And when the days are like this and you want your vitamin D, and even if you suffer from things like seasonal affective disorder, you don't like the rain, we get enough rain to keep things green, but we get tons of sun, which means lots of outdoor activities, lots of things like barbecues, family time. It is beautiful and it just puts a smile on your face. And okay, it's also important to remember that everybody can talk about 2 things in life, real estate and weather. So I have to point out that weather can be a con in Calgary. If you hate cold weather, you have to remember that in winter, we do get several very cold snaps almost every year. So you're gonna have to have your winter jacket and your winter clothing, but hey, we also get a lot of sun still during those cold snaps to offset. So it's still, there's not super high extremes in humidity. It's not super cold or you can't ever go outdoors. There is a happy medium. And as luck would have it, we're at a neighborhood book nook. I swear by chance we found this book and it has mountains. And that brings me to the next thing you absolutely need to know is Calgary is close to the mountains. How close, you ask? Well, within an hour drive, you're in Canmore and Banff, some of the most scenic and beautiful park spaces and mountains in the world. You can kayak, you can go on the river, you can swim, you can fly fish, you can basically just tour yourself around. It's amazing, and it's all just in our backyard, a stone's throw. We have people come from across the world to our parks to see things that they've never seen before, and we have it here, and it's so close. Easy to access, and is one of the things that makes Calgary such a great destination to not only come to, but to set down roots, as I alluded to before, and live. Another thing you need to know about affordability. Calgary still has some fantastic affordability, but there's a caveat there, which I'll get to in a second. When it comes to luxury properties, especially on the luxury side, you're still gonna spend a lot less here to find a luxury property than you would in, say, BC or Ontario. We don't have land transfer tax. We don't have provincial sales tax. We don't have a vacation tax. All of that can literally save you thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in the long run. And that's what's also attracting more investors here for those reasons. When it comes to levels like the 500 to 1 million range, there's still affordability there too, but it's a little bit less because inventory levels are less. I've talked about that in previous videos, so I won't get into it too much, but your dollar still stretches further here. You can still get into a condo for around $200,000, and then your properties will range all the way up to about 3 or 4 million if you really want to find that big, beautiful house or acreage, and it's still going to be cheaper than in the major centers. Another thing you need to know, sadly it's a bit of a con, is our transit system in Calgary. It does exist, we have the C train, we have buses, but it's simply not enough for a city of this size. So if you're used to taking the GO train in Toronto or the Sky train in Vancouver, a lot more infrastructure there than there is in Calgary. Calgary is a very car-centric city. That means that even in the inner city and in the suburbs, you're probably going to want to have a vehicle to get you from A to B for the gaps that there simply aren't in transit. But yes, you can still take a bike. We have designated bike lanes and those kind of things. But just remember that if you're used to hopping on the train all the time to get to the far ends of the city, Calgary just doesn't have that yet. And the final thing you need to know, and the most important in my opinion, park space. Calgary has a ton of it, and you can use it year-round. Everything from green spaces like this where you want to pick up leisure activities like tennis, anything like that. If you want to park yourself on a bench and just take in nature, it's amazing. We have tons of bike pathways and you can run on them. Those pathways stretch some of the longest distances in North America. And you also have it for winter seasons where you can skate, you can play hockey. It's seasonal, but where I'm going with it is almost everybody I talk to that moves here says, wow, I was not expecting the clean green spaces. I was not expecting the amount of recreational park space in the actual city and in every community that you can use year-round. It is amazing, and those are the things that you need to know.